Hey everyone, have you ever been in a baseball game and wanted to connect with it on a deeper level? Well, today we're going to learn its secret language, scorekeeping. It's this amazing art of turning a game into a detailed story you can actually read long after that final out.
But, okay, before we dive in, let's get one thing straight right from the top. This is not about perfection. As an official MLB scorer once said, it's really just about creating a record you can understand. It's about being part of the game, not getting every single little mark perfect.
So, here's our game plan today. We're going to start with why scorekeeping is so cool, then we'll learn the language of the game, the players and the plays, and finally we'll get into how you can make this whole thing your very own.
First up, let's talk about the big picture here. A scorecard is so much more than just a grid with some stats on it. It's a personal time capsule. It captures the unique story, all the drama, and just the feeling of that one single game.
And when you're scoring a game, you're not just watching anymore, you're participating. You start to see all these hidden patterns and strategies that you'd probably miss otherwise. Seriously, every inning becomes a brand new chapter in a story that you are actively writing. It's awesome.
Okay, so now that we get the why, let's get into the how. The very first step in telling the story of any play is knowing the characters. And in scorekeeping, that means learning the numerical shorthand for each position out there on the field.
I know, trying to keep track of 9 players at once sounds kind of impossible, right? But the solution is actually beautifully simple. Every position just has its own number. And trust me, mastering this system is the absolute foundation for everything else we're going to do.
All right, let's get into it. Every single defensive position on that diamond is assigned a number, from 1 to 9. This is the code, This is what we're going to use to describe exactly who did what and where they did it on any play.
And there's a pretty clear logic to the numbering. It starts with the battery, the pitcher is 1, the catcher is 2, and then it just moves counterclockwise around the infield. Now the one little quirk is the shortstop at 6. It's a little piece of baseball history, back from when it was more of a rover position. Then the outfield is just a simple left to right, 7, 8, 9. My advice? Burn these into your brain. They are the alphabet of scorekeeping.
Okay, so we have our players, the numbers. Now let's give them some action. For that, we're going to use letters and symbols to describe everything that happens when a batter steps up to the plate.
Let's start with maybe the most common symbol you will ever use, the capital K for a strikeout. It's simple, it's clean, and let's be honest, it's pretty satisfying to write down, isn't it? And here we go. This is basically your cheat sheet for the core vocabulary. Look, don't feel like you have to memorize all of this at once. Just focus on the big ones to start. 1B for a single, HR for a home run, and BB for a walk. Those are the key building blocks for telling the story of each at-bat.
The language of scorekeeping can also be wonderfully specific. For instance, say a runner advances on a pitch the catcher couldn't handle. Well, was it a wild pitch, or WP, meaning it was the pitcher's fault? Or was it a passed ball, PB, meaning the catcher probably should have stopped it? Your scorecard is what captures that crucial little distinction. Okay, now for the really cool part. This is where the magic happens. We're going to start combining the player numbers and the action symbols to tell the story of a full play.
So, picture this, a classic groundout. The batter hits the ball to the shortstop, who fields it, throws to first base, boom, out. How do we write that? Simple, 6-3. 6 for the shortstop, 3 for the first baseman. The numbers themselves tell the story of the play. It's so efficient.
All right, how about another one? A fly ball caught by the center fielder for an out. You just write F8. F for flyout and 8 for the center fielder who made the catch. See, it's a really beautiful logical system once you get the hang of it.
And here's what's so powerful about it. The numbers literally trace the path of the ball. So for a double play that goes from the shortstop to the second baseman to the first baseman, you got it. It's 6-4-3. The notation becomes a map of the action. And you can even add GDP for ground into double play if you want that extra little bit of detail.
All right, now that you've got the basics down, the real fun begins. And that's making it your own. Scorekeeping is a personal art form, and you can create a system that tracks whatever you find most interesting about the game.
Hey, don't be afraid to get creative. Use different colored pens to make key plays just pop right off the page. You can add little notes about a spectacular catch or a bad call from the ump. The goal is to create a record that's not just accurate, but is meaningful and uniquely yours.
So think about this. The next game you watch is a blank page. And with a scorecard in your hand,
You're not just a spectator anymore. You're the historian. You are the storyteller. So, what story are you going to write?